Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They are all over the world. So wherever you are, if you need to get into a therapist, master's level, PhD level, go to betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez, click into there, fill out some questionnaires, and they will place you with a qualified therapist. If you don't like your therapist, you can always go back in and say, hey, didn't work out. Please put me with somebody new, and they will ask you some questions and they will place you with a different therapist. I've been getting really good feedback from the people using them. So thank you, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, let's dive into the questions, shall we? All right. How do you know when your partner is stressed all the time or abusive? Okay, so here's the deal. You can be stressed and not abusive. So if somebody is saying, oh, I'm just stressed, I'm snapping at you because I'm stressed, and they do it all the time, Houston, there's a huge problem. There's something really else going on. You can have a bad day and not take it out on somebody else. I know. Mind-blowing. It's like, what? You can be stressed and not take it out on somebody else? So if your partner is constantly claiming to be stressed out all the time and they're abusive, no. You don't get to do that game. So that's a lie. That's a lie. It's like, look, I've had plenty of bad days. I don't take them out on John. I don't, because it's not his fault. It's not his problem. I will share what's going on with him. Like, wow, dude, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z, but it's not like you. That's abusive. So if they're stressed out all the time and they're abusing you, no, that's abuse. That's abuse. You can be stressed without taking it out on other people. Absolutely. And anyone who is taking it out on you and then claiming that they're just stressed, no, they're just abusive. So be very aware of that. Okay, there is that question. Can they lie enough, though, to themselves and others that they truly believe it? I don't think so. Because I haven't corrected him, because it's exhausting, and he's been running with this narrative of me being the abuser for years. So listen to me now, believe me later. Narcissists tell the story that they can live with. And they know it's a story. And they know they do. So they tell the story that they can live with. And remember, they are master projectors. So if they're constantly going, you're this and you're that and you and you and you, those are the you guns. So notice there's 2 fingers pointed out at you, but there's 6 pointed right back at them. They're talking about themselves. So if they're going, you're the abuser, you're this, you're that, likelihood is they're the abuser, they're that, they're this. Do you see where I'm going with that? Do they believe their lies? On some level, I think they do, kind of, sort of. But on a bigger level, no, they know they're lying. They know it's absolute horse manure. They do. And if they're caught, they'll double down. They won't ever be like, oh, yeah, that wasn't true, or, oh, gee, I lied, or whatever. They'll double down. And whenever you see somebody doubling down on a lie, you just kind of got to go, okay, this person is truly disordered. This person has got a personality disorder, and they are not going to change. So you get away from them. You get away from them. You did not break them. You cannot fix them. And if they're projecting and blaming you for the very things that they're doing, Houston, get out. Get out. There's a problem. Get out. It's not safe. Don't stay. So there is that. Okay. Could Chris talk about when your family sides with your abusive spouse or partner, betrayal of trust again? Yeah. Okay, so abusers will do the smear campaign, and they will try to get everybody, literally everybody, on their side, including the target of abuse's own family. So what abusers do is they do the smear campaign, and they get flying monkeys to collude with them, agree with them, do abuse by proxy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically what's happening is flying monkeys are one of two types of people. They're either one, ignorant, don't understand abuse, don't understand how it works, don't get it, try to play Switzerland, that whole thing. Or they are minor narcissists themselves siding with a major narcissist. So if your family, after knowing that you've been abused, you've told them, I've been abused by this person, they're abusive, this is what they've done, and they side with them, that family is showing you who they are. Let them go. Anyone who is willing to believe the worst of you, anyone who is willing to collude with an abuser, is being abusive themselves. Be done. Be done. Be done. You don't need them. You don't need them. So that's what's going on with that. And it's scary and it's painful because I know, it's like, oh my gosh, well, but they're my family. Well, but you'd have probably a better chance of survival with friends and not family that pretends to love you. So in other words, yes, it's scary. Yes, it feels like you're going to be alone. And better to be alone for the right reasons than with a family for the wrong reasons, because that's not family. That's feral wolves, feeding on each other. So no, if they're siding with the abuser after knowing the kind of abuse you went through, be done. Be done. I mean, you should try educating them once. And if they continue to do it, be done. Okay, I hope that answers the question. My sibling is in a horrifically abusive relationship. My family can't understand why they don't just leave. Can you please explain trauma bonding? Oh, okay. So this is what people don't understand because they don't study psychology. It's not really, it's an elective. It's not really taught in the schools. It should be. So when trauma bonding is going on, the abuser puts the target of abuse through ridiculous situations. Intermittent positive rewards. I love you, I hate you. I love you, I hate you. I love you, I hate you. Love, 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 love. Hate, 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 hate. And so it creates this cognitive dissonance. They're lying to them all the time. And so they want to believe the abuser. They don't want to believe the family and friends. They want to believe the abuser. And they kick out any incoming information that doesn't verify that this person really, is abusive. They're like, no, I don't want to hear it. I can't, la, 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 So trauma bonding is when the abuser uses intermittent positive rewards, does things that are abusive, but then turns around and comforts them. Okay. So they'll say something really horrible to them, but then turn around and, oh, come here, baby. I'll cuddle you. I'll comfort you, blah, blah, blah. So it's this, you're turning to your abuser for comfort, right? Eventually that comfort goes away. They may do it in the beginning, but then eventually that comfort goes away and they're just all discard and devalue. So trauma bonding is when you experience trauma, whether emotional or physical, and the abuser then, oh, I love you. Oh, it'll be different this time. It'll be, and that's trauma bonding, that intermittent positive reward. That's trauma bonding. So they're making your mindset so that you live for the days when they are kind, when they are paying attention to you, when they're comforting, when they're, and that's going to get less and less and less. And the reason that a lot of targets stay with abusers is the cognitive dissonance, is the trauma bonding, is because they're invested in this relationship. No. I couldn't have picked another abuser. No. This has to be the right one. No. I can't be alone. Whoa, where is that coming from? Lack of self-esteem. So it's really important that family members understand that you're dealing with somebody who is trauma bonded, that the abuser has been doing the oxytocin on them. So when abusers do the love bombing, it's to get the oxytocin going. They want to be with you 24/7. They want to have sex all the time. They start the sexual relationship off immediately. They want to see you 3 times a week or more. And they're calling you their boyfriend or girlfriend within a week. They're, coming unglued and crying and telling you that you don't realize how much they love you within a week. I mean, those are all huge red flags. And the oxytocin really does cause withdrawal. So we are in physical contact, because oxytocin is the bonding chemical. Oxytocin bonds us to partners, it bonds us to babies, that type of thing. And when the abuser withdraws and does the withholding or does the stonewalling or whatever, we start producing lots and lots and lots of oxytocin in an effort to try to, I need to connect, I need to connect, I need to connect. And then what that does is that leaves us feeling awful. We're literally going through withdrawals. And then when the abuser does deign to give us attention, we're so relieved. And it's like, oh, thank God I can breathe again. Oh, yes, you're touching me. Yes. Oh, yes, you're being emotional with me. Fake emotions. They wouldn't have a real emotion. They wouldn't know what a real emotion was. So, so trauma bonding is all of that. So the abuser uses all of this stuff intentionally. They know that what they're doing is addictive. They do. And it's what's used in POW camps in Vietnam War. This is what the prisoners would do to the guards would do to the prisoners, is they would give them extra food and then beat the living crap out of them, or, be nice to them and then beat the living crap out of them, and intermittent positive rewards. And the prisoners started living for the days when the guards were nice to them. So yeah, that is all, it's all intentional. It's all intentional. And it's heartbreaking, as I said, because in that relationship, there's only one person that actually feels and loves, and it's not the abuser. It's the target. And realizing that this person never loved you, never cared about you, never wanted you to do well, never, they essentially want us dead, is basically the whole thing. So yeah, they absolutely work on us with the trauma bonding, with the oxytocin, with the love bombing, with the I love you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you, I love you, I love you. That's trauma. That's trauma. And so we start living for those days when they love us. But let's be clear, that's not love. Love does not have strings attached. It does not. Love does not hurt. Real love does not hurt. It's not a transaction. It's not I do this for you, you do this for me. It's no, I just freaking love you, So, but, abusers can't understand that. Abusers don't understand that. Abusers won't understand that. They do not change. Please listen to me now. Believe me later. They do not change. They do not. They do not go get help. They don't. They generally hate therapists. And they say things like, psychology is not a real science. Oh, it's a soft science. Oh, all of this BS. And it's because they don't want to be found out. Because they know damn straight if the therapist has got any sort of training in forensic or abnormal psychology, they're going to recognize them and they're going to call them out on their behavior. So yeah, anybody who is not wanting you to go get therapy and is telling you that therapy is worthless and this, that, and the other thing, you're probably dealing with an abuser. So anyway, there that is. All right, guys, I hope that answered the questions. Let me make sure. Yeah. So as far as okay, they can't understand why she doesn't leave. It's the trauma bonding. And all you can do is to help break that cognitive dissonance. But it's dicey, because what will end up happening is you keep presenting the truth and the abuser will keep lying. And if this sibling is so invested in, no, I couldn't possibly be wrong. No, I had to have picked a normal person. No, they do love me. No, they do love me. Then they will literally kick the family and the friends out and run to the abuser. So just be aware. I mean, you can present facts and figures, but the likelihood of that person coming around, not really great. So what you want to do is you want to shut the door, but you don't want to lock it. And you just let them know. It's like, I don't think this person is treating you well. If you ever need a place to stay, I'm here. Other than that, good luck. God bless. There's not much you can do. When somebody is in the throes of addiction, because it is addictive, let's be clear. You're not addicted to the abuse. You're addicted to the intermittent positive rewards. That's addictive. It is. The oxytocin, that's addictive. So we're in the throes of addiction at that point. And until you realize that this addiction is going to kill you. Let me say that again. This addiction to the abuser, to the intermittent positive rewards, to the oxytocin is going to kill you. They want us dead. They want either a soul death where we just lose who we are completely, or they really truly want us physically dead. So until you realize that, and until you're ready to get out, There's nothing you can do really to help the target of abuse if they're not willing to hear it. If they're in the middle of cognitive dissonance and they're not willing to hear it and they're not willing to, really stick with those uncomfortable feelings, then yeah, who's going to lose is going to be the family and the friends, and they're going to just stick with the abuser. Do they come out of it? Sometimes they do, and then sometimes they don't. And a lot of it depends on what their family of origin was, what their self-esteem is like, and if there's any space there. And also if the abuser finally discards them, because oftentimes nothing changes until the abuser discards them. But by that point, they're so worn down, they're so empty, that oftentimes what the target of abuse will do is go, oh, I need to be with somebody now. And they run straight into another abusive relationship, as opposed to stick with the uncomfortable feelings, get with a good trauma therapist, work on self-esteem with the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi, The Disease to Please, Codependency by Harriet Breaker, work on CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. It's like there's this unwillingness to stick with the uncomfortable feelings instead of going, wow, I feel lonely. Wow, I feel empty. Wow, I have trauma. Wow, I need to work on this. It's like, how can I fill this hole? Oh, look, somebody who reminds me of my abuser, somebody who reminds me of mom and dad, somebody who reminds me, this is the inner child doing all this. Inner Child Workbook, Catherine Taylor or Lucia Cappuccioni. So those are the things you want to be working on, because you don't want to get out of an abusive relationship and run right into the arms of another abuser, because that's exactly what's going to happen if the trauma is not dealt with, if the inner child is not reparented, if the self-esteem is not solid. So that's why it's so important to read these books and to get with a good trauma therapist. All right. Okay, guys, I hope that helped. This week on Sunday, I will be talking about, why do we write it down? Why am I always saying write it out? Why am I always saying document? Why am I always saying write and burn letters? Why am I always saying do a journal? What does this do? How does this help us process? And what you can do if you don't like writing, what can you do instead? So we're going to be talking about processing the trauma, how to get it out of your head, get it onto paper, or how to get it out of your head and process it in some other way. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and definitely how to document. So we need to talk about how to document for court cases and for orders of protection and things like that. All right, you guys, have a great week, and I will talk to you on Sunday. Bye.